Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Saturday Satsang. Someone had a question today about a prescription for waking up, how to wake up from this separate self, how to wake up from this dream of separation. What are the prescription? What are the steps? And my first thought about that was, how can there be a prescription for something that doesn't exist? How can there be a prescription for waking up from a dream that doesn't really exist? It's an illusion. What kind of prescription could there be? And then as it occurred to me later, that there really is a prescription, right? Now, what would happen if you were in your sleeping dream and you asked the same question? How do I wake up from this sleeping dream? Right? You don't ask this question in a sleeping dream. That's why the dream continues. But if you ask that question, how do I wake up from this sleeping dream? What would happen? The dream would end because you'd realize it was a dream. If you asked, how can I wake up from this dream? You know it's a dream and it doesn't seem real anymore. That's the end of the dream. And that's the same way that we wake up from this waking dream. We question it. We question all of it, every bit of it. All our thoughts. Are any of our thoughts true? Are any of our thoughts real? Are any of our thoughts truth? Any of them? Are any of our beliefs true? Are any of our beliefs true? Are any of our perceptions true? Are any of the things that we perceive to be, are they as they appear to be? Are any of our thoughts, beliefs, or perceptions as they appear to be? Or is all of this just a dream? So if we question deeply these fundamental things, this is self-inquiry, isn't it? Am I who I've always seen myself to be, who I always feel myself to be, this separate person that everybody's told me I am, that has a name and a form and a everything about me, all my experiences? Are any of these actually true? Is there this me? Any more than in my sleeping dream, the one who experiences the sleeping dream, is that dream character real? Well, no. When you wake up in the morning, you realize that none of it is real. Nothing that happened to you, the environment, the people, and you, the perceiver of the dream, are all a dream, all illusion. So the same for your waking dream. Is this person, if can you find this person? Self-inquiry is to try and find this person that you think is I, to show you that it's not real, that it's not what you are, that it has nothing to do with what you are, that all of it is a dream. So can you question all of that? Everything in the dream, everything that appears, everything that you see, everything that you've named, all your fundamental thoughts and beliefs that you think are true. Can you question all of those things? Because if you do, that's the doorway to waking up from the dream. I realized that in this life, even as a young child, I did question a lot. You know, my parents were maybe too immature to have children, and my mother was very narcissistic, and both my parents were alcoholics. So it was not a very stable environment to grow up in as a child. So I questioned that. What's going on here? What is this? Is this all there is? Is this real? And when I was alone, the answers came to me in a place of enormous peace, enormous love that was just present. But that felt real, and the rest of it didn't seem so real. Everything that I was taught didn't seem quite real in school and everything else. I just didn't have such a strong belief in it as many people do. I was always questioning, are the adults right? Is the teacher right? Is the president right? Are the books right? Is the history right? Is all this right? Is there something more? It just seemed fundamentally not quite right, not quite real. So it was easy for me later to question everything. And as I question everything, particularly the sense of a separate self, through self-inquiry that I learned from the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, that to question, you know, what is thinking this? What is believing this? What is acting in this way? What is deciding this? So whatever I did, I would include what is the thing that is doing this? What is the thing that is thinking this, believing this, deciding this, acting in this way, doing this? What is it that's doing this? And over time, with enough questioning, continual questioning of everything, just changing my way of thinking to include that question to every thought that I had, every feeling I had, it ended up showing me loosening that attachment that we have to the sense of I, because that's our fundamental illusion in the dream. Once the sense of I goes, the whole dream falls apart. It depends on the sense of a separate I to have a world of separation, right? Without the sense of a separate I, where's the rest of the separation in the world? There isn't any. All that is illusion. So questioning is the way. There is a way, and the way is questioning. The way is questioning all our beliefs, all our thoughts, and the very sense of I, which is our fundamental belief and thought that I exist. This I exists. Even in religion, we reinforce this illusion that this I exists, and if it doesn't exist as a body, then it will exist as a soul. This is all the fundamental belief in an I. What if this I doesn't exist at all? What if this I too is just a dream, just an illusion? So can we question this deeply? Because if we do, we'll find out that it is. If we do, we'll find out that it is a dream. But we need to do this ourselves, not to take my word for it or the word of any teacher or anyone of what's real, because all words are part of the dream. You have to discover this for yourself, that none of your thoughts are true. You have to discover this for yourself by questioning all your thoughts. Questioning your appearances, because we see the world through name and form, which is all illusion, but you need to see that yourself, that it's all illusion, and that all the appearances that you see are not what you think they are, not how they appear to be, something dramatically more than what we think. Our illusion is very small and limited. That's not the way reality is. That's not the way the world is. It's infinitely more than what we think. And in order to see that, you need to let go of those illusions. And the best way to do that is to question them, really question them. Of course, your mind, if you do self-inquiry, in the beginning, your mind will say, of course there's a me. Yeah, I'm the one who's doing this. It's me. And the deeper you question, the more that attachment, that holding on to that sense of an I fades and loosens, that grip loosens until you see that it's not real. But it takes a while to do that because you have layers of belief in everybody you see, every conversation you have. Every time someone calls your name, it reinforces this sense of separation. Most of our conversations, as I've said before, are just about reinforcing this illusion of separation. Our whole society is doing this all the time. So there's a lot of layers of belief. Can you question all of it? Continually question all of it until you see what's really here. It's something that we don't think of doing. So self-inquiry, although it's been done long before Ramana Maharshi as a fundamental spiritual practice, is quite radical because it's not something that occurs to us to question this identity of an I, right? That's not one of our thoughts is like, is there an I? We just go on assuming that it's real. That's how we live in the dream. We don't question our sleeping dreams, so the dream seems real to us. We don't question the waking dream, so the waking dream seems real to us. So the doorway to awakening is to find out if it really is, to question it honestly and deeply. Is any of this real? Yes, it can feel disconcerting, for sure, at first. It can feel a little bit this stable dream that you've created to suddenly say that it's not so stable, it's not so real. To feel that is disconcerting. And we might be reluctant to do that. We might be afraid to do that. What would happen if this whole dream isn't real? All of it. So the mistake that we make in many spiritual practice, particularly the New Age, is to take that idea that this is illusion, this thought that this is a dream, and then substitute another illusion on top of it, another dream on top of it, and say, that's a dream that everybody believes, but my thoughts and my beliefs, they're real. I'm awake to what's real. That's the fundamental illusion because we really haven't done the work. If we did the work, we wouldn't add that new illusion onto it, that new dream. So we have in spiritual beliefs, we have many different beliefs of new dreams that we add on to the other dream. We let go of the old dream and we substitute a new dream. I'm saying don't do that. Question that dream too. Is any of it real? Any of the New Age beliefs? Any of the traditional spiritual beliefs? Any of it? Any of it? Is any of it real? Is any of it real? See, I can ask this question because I've done that. And I've seen what's beyond this dream. And I've seen this dream as a dream. So I don't have this attachment and beliefs that most people do. So when I ask this question, then in you, you can see that I have asked this question. And it allows you to ask this question. And that can feel a little uncomfortable at night, a little unstable, that suddenly the dream is dissolving. That's part of the transmission. Often it's done in silence and I'm not saying anything. But the reality of what's real begins to it begins to permeate the dream and the illusion. Reality begins to come into the dream and illusion and you begin to wake up. And that can feel a little disconcerting at first. The important thing is to feel what's behind the dream, to realize what's behind the dream, to see this, experience this, the infinite, eternal, limitless, and experience this profound bliss that just is the nature of reality, and this profound love that is the creation of all that exists. But not as a thought, not as a belief, but to directly experience this, which happens when the dream falls away. Without that, no one's going to let go of the dream. Without this direct experience of reality, nobody's going to let go of the dream because we don't know anything else. We don't have anything else. But when we have this, that is entirely beyond thought, entirely beyond belief, entirely beyond appearances, perceptions, there is an experience, but it's not anything that we think or have ever experienced before, because it's not of the dream. Our life has been entirely in a dream, like the movie The Matrix, right? It's totally unlike the movie The Matrix, but just the idea that in The Matrix, Neo was living in a dream and totally believed the dream was real, and then stepped out of the dream. Of course, when he stepped out of the dream, it was into a nightmare. It was like a worse thing. And that's what we do. We create, we can't experience and accept things as they are because they're not of thought. They're not of illusion. We have to make another illusion and layer it on top of the one that we've stepped out of. We're not comfortable just being in this reality, which is not thought. It's not chaos at all. There's a perfection and an understanding in it. It's just not of thought. And you let go of the dream. The prescription to let go of the dream is to question the dream, just as you would in a sleeping dream. Is this real? Right? In a sleeping dream, it ends very quickly. As soon as you realize it's a dream, it becomes a lucid dream, and then it just disappears. There's no more dream, right? Because you don't believe it anymore. And the same thing happens in the waking dream. It just doesn't usually happen quite as instantaneously. It can happen in layers and steps as you begin letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go, which is why we say waking up is about letting go, about surrender, about letting go of our attachments and our resistance. Because our resistance, too, is we're resisting part of a dream. It's a form of attachment. We believe it's real. That's why we're resisting it. It's all a dream. Everything we perceive, everything we think, everything we experience, the whole thing is a dream. This sense of I that is experiencing this is a dream. None of this really exists in reality. What does exist, we cannot think or imagine. And that's what we wake up to, the beauty and bliss and comfort and reality of this, without trying to substitute something else on top of it, some understanding of it. No, there's no understanding of this. The understanding is it itself, the being of it. And the being of it is the understanding of it. There's no more understanding. There's no mental understanding. There's no illusions to put on it. It's just the nature of being itself. Infinite and eternal, limitless, and completely incomprehensible to the mind. That's why it's real. That's why it's true. So if you want to wake up, this is the doorway to awakening. Herein lies the doorway. Enter if you are willing to, which means just to let go. The more you let go, the more you'll wake up. The more you question, the more you'll realize. If you honestly question the dream, it cannot hold up. If you honestly question the sense of self, it cannot hold up. Eventually you will see through it. And when you see through it, you can no longer believe it. So this dream has been going on your entire life. Unlike your sleeping dream, which may be only a few minutes, the waking dream has been going on for a very long time. For lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So it's natural that there's more to let go of. If you realize that you essentially have to let go of everything, everything you think, everything you believe, everything you perceive, your life, yourself, all of it. And in this way, you find out what's real. What remains when everything has been let go of is real. It's not a void. There's nothing like a void. It's nothing like what we can think. But there is this experience of bliss. And this is corroborated among many people that have awakened, this experience of bliss for no reason at all. It's just maybe the release of having been in a dream before. But the bliss stays. And there is this experience of love, not with a subject or object, just love as love, the isness of love. This is what we would call it. But it's much more than anything that we can think about love or bliss. Bliss is really the freedom from the illusion of a self. And love is the freedom from the illusion of separation. And all of this is present when we let go of the dream, because we let go of the sense of self. We let go of the sense of separation, this illusion of a self and this illusion of separation. So questioning is the way. Question all your thoughts, all your beliefs, your sense of self. There's practices for self-inquiry, and questioning everything else is similar to that. Is what I'm seeing real? Is any of this real? Is this room real that I'm in? Is this computer, whatever, I'm watching this unreal? As you can see in Facebook and social media, people have a great faith in their illusion of a self, right? You know, selfies, and this is my happy self. This is my good self. This is my self. Look what I'm eating. This is what I like. This is who I am. A reinforcement of the sense of self in everybody that responds and said, "Oh, you look so good. You're so attractive. Oh, you look so happy," is a reinforcement of this illusion of a self. So throughout all of society, we're continuously reinforcing this illusion of ourself. So what I'm asking you to do is the opposite, not to reinforce it, but to question it. Is this me? Notice when you look in a mirror that sometimes you're beautiful or handsome and other days you're ugly. And other days it's like, oh, I don't look very good. I don't look as good as I did the other day or whatever. How are both those things possible? Which one are you? Beautiful or ugly? Confident or a failure? Which one? Question that. Right away it's showing you that can you find this self? A real self would have to be something that's permanent and unchanging. It's not going to be beautiful one day and ugly the next. That can't be real. Anything that changes cannot be true. So find out if there's anything in your dream that doesn't change. Is this sense of you unchanging? Or is it changing from one day to the next? I think you'll find the answer is that it changes. And eventually you'll come to this fundamental sense of I that doesn't seem to change much. Just I am, I exist. And that's a deeper, you'll feel much more comfortable when you get to that stage of the I. I am, I exist, but not as beautiful or ugly or anything, just the existence itself. And as you dwell on that and stay on that and keep your attention instead of going out into the world or your thoughts in that sense of I, eventually that too will dissolve. Even though that feels much more stable, it's part of the dream. It's like, it's an innocent part of the dream, but it's like Velcro. It attaches all the other things to it. So eventually by itself, if you keep your attention on it, that too will fade. And then you'll be free of that whole sense of an I. And with it, all sense of separation. All your thoughts will be seen as not true, because they're not. But you have to experience that. Your questioning will lead you to let go of your attachments, and letting go of your attachments will lead you to more freedom and a more authentic experience of yourself. The more you let go, the more you'll feel this essential goodness, this essential truth, this essential love, this essential bliss will keep growing in you. The more you let go of illusion. And eventually they'll just be that, not a self at all. But this all comes from your willingness to question everything. Are you willing to? Many people talk about waking up, but they're imagining that this separate self is going to wake up. And they feel okay about that. I want to have an enlightened self. But there is no enlightened self. Too many teachers are enlightened selves. They're just simply deeply lost in illusion, more even than you are. Using spiritual words to reinforce this idea of a self, a very spiritual self, an enlightened self, a wise self. Can you see how this is not true? This is just more of their dream. And when you accept this dream, you look on them and say, they're very special. They're wonderful. Look what they can do. They have all kinds of powers. They're amazing. It's all bullshit, really. It's just a dream. They're not at all. There's no special. If there were special, there would not be non-duality. There wouldn't be truth. No one is special. There is no one to be special. No one is enlightened. There is no one to be enlightened. No one is awake. There's no one to be awake. That's what awakening is. The freedom from this illusion of a self that wants to be awake. But again, you find this out by questioning. You find this out yourself, not from what I say or any teacher says. You have to do the work of questioning. You have to be willing to question everything, your sacred cows, your most fundamental beliefs. And for all of us, the most fundamental belief, the biggest sacred cow is I, me, who I am, who I will be, who I was. And all of this is a dream. So it's a lot to ask of you, isn't it? To question everything. You and your life, everything you perceive, your relationships, everything. The world. Climate change, war, poverty, corruption, good and bad, evil, good, spirituality, gurus. Not that there's not some help in gurus if they're authentic and awake, which not many are. Most of them aren't. But there are some that are, and it's helpful to be around them. Not from anything they say, just their own freedom. They usually won't say very much. But you can feel their freedom, just as you can feel it from me. When I ask you to ask these questions, I'm asking from a place of freedom. So that sort of allows you to do it, to have real permission. I'm not faking it. So that question has a lot of weight to it. Your questioning begins to have a lot of weight, a lot of reality. You are really deeply questioning. And if it feels uncomfortable at first, which it will, because you're letting go of what you know to find what you don't know and can't know, not with your mind. But you're opening to truth. And if that's important to you, if that's the most important thing to you in the world, truth, which it should be, why live this world as a lie, as an illusion, as a dream? Doesn't matter what you accomplish or do in this world if it's just a dream, does it? In your sleeping dream, you've done many things. Climbed Mount Everest, levitated, flew through the air, done all kinds of things. But it's a dream. It never really happened. And this waking dream is the same. It's a dream. You want to know what truth is. And if to understand what truth is, you have to question everything in the dream. What remains and cannot be questioned. You can question reality all you want. It's not gonna change it. Nothing is gonna change in reality or truth. It remains as it is. The more you question it, the more you experience of it. Whereas the dream dissolves when you question it. If you honestly question it, it dissolves. Reality only expands as you question it. It doesn't change. If it's real, keep questioning it because it's not going to change. That's how you know. You keep questioning it and it doesn't change. It just grows. But most people are not willing to do this. Many spiritual people have their beliefs, especially in the New Age, these illusions and conspiracy theories. They're very attached to this. They don't want to let it go. They call that being awake. But it's not being awake at all. It's just being deeply lost in illusion, deeply lost in a dream. They've just substituted one dream for another. Now, if you have a healthier dream, a happier dream, relatively, it's better than an unhealthy dream. If it's a dream that makes you happy, that's relatively better than a dream that makes you unhappy or paranoid or fearful or angry or causes you stress. But eventually you have to let go of that happy dream too, because it's still a dream. If truth is the most important thing to you, you will let go of all dreams. You will question all dreams until they fall apart, until they dissolve. And that's what happens. Truth is here all the time. The truth that you're seeking has never not been here. Throughout all eternity, that truth is always here. Infinite, limitless, eternal. How could it be different? How could it go anywhere? How could it change? It doesn't. But to find this truth, you have to let go of the dream that is obscuring it, that is getting in the way of it, that is clouding your awareness so that you can't see something that's always here. The truth of what you are. Your sense of self is in the way of experiencing your true nature, what you really are. And again, no person, no teacher, no matter how awake, can describe this in words. Because it cannot be described in words. We know from experiencing this that there is no way to put it into words. It just isn't. It's not, that would put it into a dream again. It is entirely beyond words and thoughts and beliefs. It is the very nature of reality itself. And you are the very nature of reality itself. But you can only know this by letting go of the dream and experiencing it yourself. And then, like me, you'll have no way of describing it or saying anything about it. But that's okay. Because nothing that we do changes the nature of reality. Nothing that we think or believe or how lost we are in illusion changes the nature of reality. Wars and climate change do not change the nature of reality. It always is what it is. And all of this is included in it, including all the dreams and illusions and everything else are all included within this fundamental nature of reality. But we experience the fundamental nature of reality when we let go of the dreams because it limits us. We cannot perceive that in this limited dream of a self and separation and illusion. I feel that you are ready for this, that you will begin questioning. You can start with small things, your thoughts. Like Byron Katie, you can do that work of questioning these things that are causing you problems. You can begin there to relieve yourself of suffering through your thoughts. And eventually you'll naturally do more. Eventually you'll naturally question everything. Begin wherever you are with whatever you're willing to do. As you do it, it will expand by itself. As you see that more of your thoughts are not true, eventually you'll come to realize that no new thought is going to be true either. And you'll let go of your attachment to thought. And with it, belief. And then the sense of a self, everything you think about yourself. There's so many thoughts and layers of thoughts of the perceptions that other people have put on you of who you are, the ones that you've accepted. All those layers will start falling apart too. And you'll wake up. It's how everyone has really awakened. They've all questioned. It's this questioning that helps us to wake up. There is nothing other than that. We've all questioned. When we question everything, we wake up. And that's the prescription. That's what you'll do. And already by just listening to me, you've probably already done this. Not just in this one time, but in order to even be interested, you've done this in your life. Something has prompted you in the world to question your beliefs, what you thought was true. And eventually you'll question all of it. That's the red pill, as they talk about in the Matrix. I don't know whether it's the red or green or blue pill that he takes to wake up. But that's the pill for you, is just questioning. Because you need to understand this yourself. Awakening doesn't happen because of me. It happens because of you. It happens because of what you do. No teacher can do this for you. They can be helpful. They can lead you into this questioning, into being willing to question. But you have to question. You have to be willing to question. And you question all of this. I think you can. And you can hold on to the belief that something wonderful is beyond all this dream, because it is. And then let that go too. You won't need it anymore once you experience it. There's nothing to call it wonderful. Even love and bliss are just more illusory words. It's so much more than that. I invite you to experience this. And the doorway is your own questioning. Questioning everything. Everything. All your thoughts, all your beliefs, everything everyone else says, spiritual beliefs, teachings of Buddha, Jesus, all that. Question all of it. It's okay, because you'll find truth is where all that comes from. And you'll find it yourself. It has to begin in you. Thank you, my friend. Many blessings on your wonderful journey.